Yes, it's me, Mike Stone, and this is the Backseat Driver Podcast. This episode is brought to you by Gas Shocks, home of the 116 Trophy and 120 Coupe Cup. Hoddy Tyres, find the best tyres for your vehicle, supplying all the top brands to keep you covered in every season and every condition. Tarox Brakes, the art of slowing down, precision engineered in Italy for ultimate performance, and Specialised Automotive Services, specialists in high quality automotive maintenance and classic car restoration. You can find the details of all our proud sponsors for this episode in the show notes. If you're anything like me, you will have enjoyed the films of the 60s, 70s and 80s, which in many ways gives my age away. But the one thing about films of that era, a lot of them had a good car chase in them. Unlike today, where it's all AI, where a car barrel rolls 10 times, and by the way, it has been tried, the most anybody ever got a car to roll was 4. But they generated tremendous interest, which was the reason a lot of people actually went to see these films. Long gone over the days of the back projection and everything else. But I think it's safe to say the car chase, without exception, the one that launched them all, was the one from Bullitt, with Steve McQueen and his friend Bill Hickman driving the two cars. 10 minutes, just over 10 minutes worth. So the subject of this evening's Backseat Driver is car chases of the 60s, 70s and maybe the 80s, which means I'm joined once again by Mr. Joseph Peppertone, better known as Joe Pep, or as I call him since he's from New Jersey, Joe the Pencils. Joe, welcome back again to the Backseat Driver.
I feel honored. And
so you should.
To my new friends over in England, it's an honor to be here. And if I could be knighted, well, I would be super honored. But hey, listen, thank God dreaming is for free, and away we go. Take it away, Mark.
Now, as I said, 68, Bullitt. And the interesting thing was that film should have been filmed in Boston. But since Boston didn't have the ups and downs and the road systems of San Francisco, it was shifted there, which is where not so much Steve McQueen and his friend Bill Hickman, who was actually a stunt driver, he appeared in 1 or 2 films, and Steve said, we'll get you an acting part, but you'll be driving a car. I think the true stars of the show was the green, I think it was forest green Ford Mustang Coupe that Steve McQueen drove, and the Dodge Charger RT that Bill Hickman drove. And the interesting thing was, as I said, it lasted just over 10 minutes. They overtook a green Volkswagen Beetle about 6 times, and the Dodge lost 7 hubcaps. Some going, but that was in the days when the cars, the Mustangs, there were actually 2 of them. There was the hero car, the one that was shiny and kept straight. Then there was the one that got busted up a little bit. Plus also another interesting, if useless fact, where McQueen overshoots a right-hand turn, because McQueen drove a lot of the chase. He didn't drive all of it, but he drove some. And he stopped. There was axle tramp, monumental axle tramp out of that Mustang. And then he set off. A lot of the smoke and tyre smoke actually came from a smoke box in the car. But I mean, that had to be the film. And did he do anything for the sales of Mustangs and Dodges?
I contacted a friend of mine who worked for Young and Rubicon Advertising. And at the time, he worked with Mercury.
Yeah.
Mercury Ford line. So I asked him, I said, Roy, does something like this increase sales tremendously? And he goes, it's ups and downs.
Yeah.
It can't hurt.
Yeah.
to do this because it's that car is out in the public eye. And with the Bullitt, yes, it did increase sales for the time period, but it wasn't something that was overwhelming.
Yeah.
Now, if anybody has information like that that is contradictory to what I say, please. That's the only way you learn is by knowing the actual facts. Okay.
I mean, the interesting thing was the Dodge Charger was actually the more powerful of the two cars. Although, for the sake of the film, the Mustang was the most powerful car. I think it's also safe to say the Mustang was the better looking car, was it not?
And it's, that's the Charger, a beautifully designed car, totally different looking from the Ford Mustang. But it's preference.
Yeah.
What's that old song? You say tomato, I say tomato. And to me, it's, I always liked the Ford Mustang.
Yeah.
It's a matter of preference.
Yeah.
Now, where the Charger has more power, you could have someone that can have a powerful car, but they really don't know how to drive that car. So I could see it always being in the chase part of the movie. The Ford Mustang, my father had taken me to that movie, and it was like action pack. You're flying over the streets of San Francisco and making those turns, and something that mom and dad never drove that way. God, but it was something where it just glues you to your seat.
Yeah.
And for a lot of young people that were of age of driving, they're in their 20s and their 30s, and it was very, very exciting.
Yeah.
And it was a different way of motion pictures.
Yeah. And I think the other thing about Bullitt, on the build-up to the car chase, there was that fantastic piece of music by Lalo Schifrin, Changing Gears, with some of the best brass work you will ever hear, trombones and saxophones. I think that was what... I know when I was taken to see it, my father had already seen it once, and all of a sudden he said to me, it's going to happen, it's going to happen. And I think a lot of people in the cinema that night, apart from the fact... It's a film I have on DVD. Yes, some of us still watch DVDs. And it's actually a good film. It's a good film. But I think that night a lot of people had gone to the cinema to see the car chase. This car chase had become legendary.
Oh, big time. Big time. Mark, can I tell the story of when I interviewed the man that owned the car when I had my radio show?
Yeah.
What I found out was that, as you had mentioned, when the car peels out, there was smoke coming out of the tire.
Yeah.
How they found the original Bullitt, because, you have all these imposters saying, yes, I have the actual car.
I'm just putting in one moment. When I was in Retromobile the other week in Paris, on a Ford stand, there was a green Mustang coupe with the sign, this is the original car. And I said to my friend Marie-Catherine, no, it isn't. I said, it looks like it, but it ain't. Sorry about that.
Right. No, absolutely. There were two things that distinguished this car. And one was like right under your nose.
Yeah.
But many people never saw it. It was a decal.
Yeah.
That the motion picture studio put on I called them wing windows.
Yeah.
Okay. Looks like a triangle.
Yeah. Like a quarter light. Yeah.
Yeah. And that was placed on the driver's side of the car.
Yeah.
Plain as day, and that was put on back in the day when you would really have to make an effort to make a decal.
Yeah.
Back in 1968, not like today. And the second thing that gave away everything was there were holes in the trunk where they had the smoke machine.
Yeah.
And, as a moviegoer, you never It's not like nowadays where it's like you're always looking for something that's like wrong with the movie or something like that. Back then it was like you saw a car peeling out with all that smoke coming out, and you didn't think, oh, there's a smoke machine in the trunk. You actually thought it was the car tires.
Yeah.
And sound effects that bring out the thunder of the automobile out to the viewer. Nowadays, we're all educated, and where these things can be added, just like in the old movies, the very old movies, where if they had a horse going down the street, you would have a sound effects man with shaved off coconuts, making that sound, like clippity clop sound.
Or as they call them, Foley engineers.
Foley, okay, got it. But it was a tremendous movie, and the thing is that I think for people who are God's Charger fans, back in the day, they wanted to see revenge. On this, and it's just like here in the States, it still continues. People who have Ford automobiles, and people have Chevrolets. And do you know what Ford stands for? This is the joke.
Go on.
You know what Ford's
fix it. Was it? No, that's Fiat. Go on. It'll be something to do with fix it.
Well, you know it. It's called fix or repair
daily.
Or another one is found on the road dead. I mean, to me, it's a matter of preference, what you like. That battle with Chevy and Ford still continues.
It's like, I know we're moving out. Fiat, fix it again tomorrow. Or Lotus, loads of trouble, usually serious.
Oh, Mark, you're so polite with English. You got to be rough and tough American, you know what I mean? It's, we're bigger, we're better,
Well, I mean, like the Mustang also featured very heavily in the original, it featured in both of them, the original Gone in 60 Seconds. I mean, in the original 74 film, that the driver was a guy called Tony Halicki. And the only modification they did to that, they chained the gearbox in and gave it nitrous in, and like nitrous the thing, which they also did to the Nicolas Cage version. Both the Mustangs were Eleanors, and both ended up somewhat tatty, but in the 74 one, the guy who drove it, Toby Halicki, he'd already been injured in making another movie, and he more or less drove this car for an incredible period of time over curbs. I mean, the car was a complete wreck by the time he'd finished, and he did it with an arm in plaster. But nobody thought anything about this, did they? Health and safety didn't exist. The director wanted his car chase, and he got his car chase, and the guys who drove them just went out there and did it, didn't they?
It was, Mark, it was a different time. Now you can't do this because it's an insurance liability. You can't do that because you'll offend some group. Back then, it was like, get behind the wheel and drive.
Yeah.
You have a busted arm, the director would say, "Hey, Mark, listen, you okay?" And Mark says, "Why, of course, not a problem." And you would go and you would drive the car. Now it's like you got to sign waivers and this and that. And it's me. People say to me, "Joe, you're 72 years old. Your mom and dad had these cars back in the day that there was no seat belts and no safety glass and a metal dashboard. How'd you survive?" And it was like, you just did. And if you got hurt, you brushed it off and you got up and you went back at it again.
I mean, another film, switching makes. Another great car chase, 1971, was French Connection with Gene Hackman.
Oh.
And he drove, if memory serves, it was a Pontiac Le Mans. Now, the one thing was, the producers of the film and the directors struggled to get permission off New York to film the car chase. So the only thing they did is they went and found a little beforehand some off-duty policemen and said, look, if we slide you a few dollars, can you, like, keep the roads a bit quiet or direct people the other way? Which they did. And the famous scene as he's bouncing the thing underneath the elevated railway, he hits another car. Nobody ever realised the car he hit was a member of the public. He just happened to be unfortunate enough to get in front of Gene Hackman. But I mean, if you think about it, that Pontiac Le Mans was in a terrible state by the time they'd finished scrapping it in this chase. A very unusual choice of car.
Pontiac was always, and I'm going by what my dad would always say, it's like Chevrolet was the working man's car.
Mm.
Pontiac and Oldsmobile was the sports car.
Yeah.
Okay. So Oldsmobile was more of a sports car than the Pontiac.
Yeah.
Okay. And Pontiac was, what I recall, was like losing ground. It was like started to be forgotten.
Yeah.
But that, because it's like in 1967, they had the GTO, which is just a beautiful looking car to this day.
Yeah.
And then, they started in the 70s, they started changing the design of the Pontiac.
Yeah.
And why they chose that car, I have no clue. But it would be great if any of our audience members know something about this.
Yeah.
And they should contact you, Mark, because these are the little hidden things.
Yeah.
Because when you watch a movie, oh, this is great, blah, 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 blah. We had a neighbor down the street that had a four-door Pontiac
Yeah.
Le Mans. And
which was the same as used in the film, because, I mean, not being funny, a four-door saloon does not immediately bring to mind the great 24-hour race of Le Mans.
no. I mean, four doors, I grew up in a two-door family.
Yeah.
Now you look at all the cars out there, and they're all four doors.
Yeah.
Which to me that's a family car.
Yeah.
A station wagon back in the day was the family car. If you wanted to be a cool kid on campus, you didn't have a station wagon, you didn't have a four-door, you had a two-door.
Yeah.
Okay. But that's, everything's changed. Look at Cadillac. Cadillac was like the crown jewel of General Motors. And all their models are four-door automobiles.
Yeah.
So why they chose that, I really don't know. But, there was one thing. I was watching Jay Leno's Garage. And, my father in 1966 bought a Mercury Monterey.
Yeah.
Two-door, 390, two-barrel. And Jay Leno came out and he was talking about the Bullitt car, and that had a 390.
Yeah.
He didn't say if it was a two-barrel or a four-barrel, but it was a very powerful engine. That was my first car. I bought that car for my father in 1971.
Yeah.
And that car, oh my God, you put the air conditioning on and everything else, and you're flying down the highway.
Yeah.
Not that I did. But those were the glory days. But anyway, it's why. Good question.
Yeah.
Good question. So what else you got on your list?
I mean, the other one, once again, Dodge made its appearance once again with, I think it's Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry. They used a Dodge Charger RT and a Chevy Impala. Then, of course, there was the great one, Vanishing Point. There was Vanishing Point, and the other one was Fear is the Key, both with Barry Newman. Well, Vanishing Point was the car chase beginning to end, where it's rumoured, of course, he drove into a pair of bulldozers. In Fear is the Key, and it once again, and I've mentioned this to you before, and you said they probably used it because it hadn't really been out very long and they were trying to promote it. And theoretically, it survived the chase. And that was the Ford Gran Torino Sport. Now, it's like we said, Dodge did very well in car chases, didn't they? They featured a lot in them. And I conclude it's because of the size of the engine and, like we were saying, sound effects. The sound effect they used was the sound of the actual car's engine. And I get the feeling the Dodges sounded good engines. But the Ford Gran Torino Sport, it's not a car that springs readily to mind at all. I conclude Ford would have wanted that car used to promote it because it had just come out.
Sure. They were a nice looking car.
Yeah.
Okay, the Torinos. But it was, you're getting into the 70s and the manufacturing wasn't, how can I say, to me, quality.
Yeah.
As cars from the 60s. I mean, you're only talking, maybe a 10-year difference, 5-year difference. Okay. Now, where the Torino became very popular was in a TV show here in the United States called Starsky and Hutch.
Yes.
Okay. And
candy apple red with a white stripe round it.
Yes. And here in Wilmington, North Carolina, there's a gentleman that owns a car that was used for publicity.
Yeah.
For the Torino. And he has one of the sweaters that, Starsky Hutch would wear.
Yeah.
Okay. And, you sit in it and it's like, this is a really nice car.
Yeah.
But as the 70s went on, it was like these cars weren't built very well.
Yeah.
I had my first brand new car. I was 20 years old and I bought a Mustang, 1974 Mustang 2.
Yeah.
Fully loaded for $3,275.
Yeah.
And it had a V6 in it.
Yeah.
And when I had the air conditioning on it, and if I was going up an upgrade, I would have to shut the air conditioning off, get the engine more power. Now these smaller engines are to me very powerful.
Yeah.
But that was like one of the drawbacks.
Yeah.
A lot of Mustang people did not like the 74s because the size just went tremendously small.
Yeah.
And I said, well, you may not like it, but the ladies like it. So, it's, I was a smart 20-year-old then. But, getting back to the cars, it was like the Dodges, that they were a powerful car. Yeah, everybody liked it. A lot of people liked it. But you always had to have that hero car.
Yeah.
In the background.
But yeah, the Dodge scene, I mean, like, to just keep on with the Dodge, I mean, once again, I think the most famous TV series that the Dodge appeared in, or a Dodge appeared in, and they got through hundreds of them, was, of course, the infamous Dukes of Hazzard, where they just wrote them off for fun. And, of course, after it had just bananaed, after it landed over a big bridge that wasn't there, the hero car made an appearance and it was perfectly straight. That must have done wonders for Dodge's image, must the Dukes of Hazzard. I mean, okay, we all watched it for Daisy Duke, of course. Yeah. But I mean, that car, the General Lee, achieved legendary status, didn't it?
Oh, yeah. And the thing is, again, the organization that I belong to, Antique Automobile Club of America, they're a nationwide chapter. I believe they're coming over to Europe. We had a member that owned a Dukes of Hazzard car.
Yeah.
But it was never, not that I know of, but it was never used in TV productions. It was a car that was made to look like the General Lee. But I mean, it's like you look inside the car, you look around the car, and it brings back all these memories as a kid. But, with the things going on with the states and the pandemic and with the Confederate flag, that's a touchy thing over here in the United States.
Yeah.
Whereas 50 years ago, a lot of state flags down south had a Confederate flag on it.
Yeah.
Having that flag now, how would we say? It's not in good taste.
Well, I mean, did the promo car have its doors welded up like the real General Lee? What? Because, I mean, they had to get into it through the windows because it never had any glass in. Because it would be based on somebody on a car that was used to run moonshine, wasn't it?
Yeah. You got to figure down south. I mean, when we're finished with this podcast, we're going to be with my friends, and we're going to run some moonshine to and we'll go up Interstate I-40. It's that romance of the South. It's that's how NASCAR started.
I was going to say, from running shine, the cars that were used, heavily modified Fords and things like Chevys, Buicks, everything, from illegal driving at high speed to shift a little bit of booze around the place, came what is America's probably greatest motorsport. I mean, they are fixated with it, which is NASCAR. And I still don't understand how it works at times. How did you describe it? Those who like to watch cars turn left.
You stole that from me. But that's like America and apple pie. It's NASCAR races. You have the people that are glued to it.
Yeah.
And then you have people that they see it on television and they switch it off to the cooking channel, which is my wife, Mrs. Pepitone. I'll watch it for a few, but then, the most important thing is and you go to an event like that, it's family fun for everyone.
Yeah. It's
to bring your kids to see this and the excitement. The only thing I can compare it to is when my father would take me to Yankee Stadium.
Yeah.
And you're seeing the warm-ups and you're seeing the television crew and everything, And to me, that was like, wow, this is great, And the same thing with kids, you take them away from the home environment to a very loud, noisy spectator sport.
Yeah.
And you think it's like, the cars are loaded with sponsored decals, and that is a driving positive economy to me. And back in the day, it was all men.
Yeah.
But then women were like, hey, we can drive these cars too.
Yeah.
And then now you have you have men and women driving these cars. But to me, it's a dangerous sport, but it's automotive.
Yeah.
It's automotive. And I would say that if you ever have a chance to watch it across the pond, I would take it in.
I mean, it's mandatory because I think they once said during NASCAR at the races, Budweiser, that's when they sell beer. I mean, they always say other beers aren't available, but I get the feeling at NASCAR, other beers aren't available. You drink Budweiser, you don't drink anything at all. But they drink it by the tanker load.
Oh, yeah. You think about it. It's like Budweiser sponsoring the program.
Yeah.
And you better have Budweiser at every concession stand.
Yeah.
At the stadium. Budweiser, they've been around for many a year.
Yeah.
And it's, you see the Clydesdales and all those it's the romance of the past and Budweiser wagon and stuff like that. So what other automobiles do you want to talk about to our friends across the pond?
Which, like I said, another one that did incredibly well. And I think they made three films out of the franchise: Smokey and the Bandit and the Trans Am. I once drove a Trans Am. I was asked when I was working for one of the classic car magazines. I was asked to attend an American car event, and I was lent this white Trans Am with blue edging. I don't know whether it was an Indy car. It was based on a pace car. It had a 7.5 litre V8. and I've never driven such a slow car in my life. It had tremendous horsepower, this huge engine, but it just didn't do anything with it. But I mean, the Burt Reynolds Smokey and the Bandit Trans Am, that was the bedroom poster alongside a Lamborghini Countach for hundreds of kids. I mean, that had to be like the Dukes of Hazzard car. That had to be another legend that crossed America, didn't it?
When that came out, what was it, 1976?
Yeah.
The United States was, let me give you the mood of the country back then. Vietnam was over. Okay.
Yeah.
The mood of the country was getting into good times. I was 22 years old.
Yeah.
I was in college. And the Smokey and the Bandit comes out. And, of course, you had the adorable Sally Fields.
Yep.
And the love interest. And it was a good time movie.
Yeah.
You know, where you can break the law and have a great time and have a fantastic woman on your side.
And a car that everybody wants to own. I mean, all Trans Ams, no matter what colour they were, nearly all had a big gold eagle on their bonnet, didn't they?
Yes. Yeah. My cousin owned one, was white, and the Firebird on the hood had it was a black emblem with blue trim, dark blue trim.
Yeah.
It was a TV show in the United States, which is becoming very popular again. It was the Rockford Files.
Oh yeah, he drove a Camaro, didn't he?
I thought it was a Firebird.
I thought, many having said that, as the series progressed, the cars did change. They became slightly more modern.
But Smokey and the Bandit, you had the trailer.
Yeah.
That went with it. That just, when Burt Reynolds passed away, that was auctioned off with the Firebird.
Yeah.
So that still exists. It wasn't common when you got out of the movies that you had these kids that would peel out in the parking lot, in all different types of cars and stuff. And that was a time where American country music was becoming very popular, and everybody was wearing cowboy hats. And I know somewhere in the archives, I have a photo of me with a cowboy hat. But that's the way things were, and they were the good times in the United States. But, it's like my old radio show, Every Car Has a Story. This has a very good story. And from time to time, I'll watch that movie when, it's you just get tired of watching the television in these movies where 50 people get killed by one man.
In guns that you never bother reloading.
Yeah, absolutely. But it would be great for people in England. What are their thoughts? Your listeners, what are their thoughts of these big powerhouse cars from the United States?
Yeah.
And it'd be interesting to hear what they think when have them contact you.
Yeah.
But to me, this was something that you just grew up with.
Yeah.
The cars back then, they were going through a design change.
Yeah.
Chevrolet. If you'd had an Impala in the 60s, that was a great looking car. But the Impala of the 70s, I was not a fan of it.
Yeah.
As a kid or young man.
I mean, the cars in the car chases, okay, many times there were more than one. It's like they said, there's the main car, the hero car. But I mean, the amount of abuse these cars were able to take before they came to a halt was incredible. And somebody said, well, since a lot of the major running gear was set within this vast body, I conclude that's why these cars could do well in a car chase. With some of them did get a roll cage. Somebody did decide, well, we might try and look after the driver a little bit. But the cars were able to take incredible amounts of abuse, weren't they, in these car chases?
They were built for what they had available at the time. But you have to think about this, Mark. You're doing production. right? So you got all your actors and actresses that are going to be in the film,
Yeah.
all right? And if you only have one car, and that car, you're flying over a hill and you're coming down 10 feet.
Yeah.
You're smashing all the gearbox and the oil pan and everything else. And then it's like, well, we got to put production on hold because we got to get the car fixed. They got to allot. It's like, okay, how many cars do you think we're going to destroy in making this movie?
And I suppose the other thing was if the production company was buying the cars, because it's like you said a while ago, the manufacturers weren't too keen on giving cars because they knew what would happen to them. So they go out, a bit like maybe to use Gene Hackman's car from the Pontiac Le Mans.
Yeah.
If we go out to a few used car lots, we can out and buy about 10 of them for about $500 a piece. We can probably get them all identical, and if we put the same number plate on them all, well, the continuity's no problem. So I conclude a lot of the time it could have been down to production companies buying cheap cars or the same make and model of car from 6 or 7 used car lots.
I would say, Mark, that they bought stripped down versions. It's like, and no cigarette lighter, it was just a stripped down model. And it had to be that color that they needed. Okay. And if it had a vinyl roof or if it was non-vinyl. And it's back then there was a lot of telephone calls.
Yeah.
So I would say different dealerships.
Yeah.
Back then. You think about it in business, it's you got to make money.
Yeah.
You can't be, you figure, okay, here's how many production companies are going to be buying or needing a particular brand of automobile.
Yeah.
They will go broke giving away things.
Yeah.
It's like as an automotive illustrator, from time to time, I get approached and it's like, could you donate a piece of work?
Yeah.
Oh, well, if I did it for everybody, I'd be working out of a cardboard box.
Yeah.
So maybe there was a deal that they made. I don't know.
Yeah.
If anybody out there knows, please.
I suppose they could contact a chain like there is in England. Many dealerships are part of a franchise, so there can be 10 dealerships within that franchise. So it's a case of, well, we'll contact one of the big ones and find out what they've got the most of on their used car lots. And if somebody comes back and says, we've got 12 Buick Rivieras, we'll be using a Buick Riviera for that then.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, a lot of time, and here's something interesting. Now, for new listeners, I was an art director for 20 years at Archie Comic Books.
Yeah.
So Archie and Marvel and DC Comics, they would put in automobiles to get the kids' attention.
Yeah.
And there's this one Archie comic where the character in the comics is driving a Studebaker Avante.
Yeah.
And this was like 1960.
Yeah.
Okay. But it was to get people really into it.
Yeah.
The oh God, I wish I could remember the name, but they used a Tucker.
Yeah.
And this was like almost like a horror film.
Yeah.
But I'll have to get the name of that. But it was to get people, to draw people in.
Yeah.
And to me, why not?
Yeah.
But very interesting. All the cars that are used and things in that nature.
Yeah.
But to me, my wife has a 2012 Toyota Scion, which I call it a car that looks like a shoe. I don't think you'll ever see that in a chase movie. But,
now, one make and model of car that has featured in more car chases, be it as a police car or a taxi, and they must have been written off by their thousands. But I get the feeling there must have been a good car because there are so many of them, was the famous Ford Crown Victoria. A bit of an unsung hero. I mean, what is it about the, as they were described in one programme, the Crown Vic? I mean, what is it about the Crown Vic that made it such a good car chase car, or a good car in general?
It was a family car.
Yeah.
It was a car that, God, can you imagine being the account executive at Ford and makes a deal with the United States somehow with almost every police car?
Yeah.
You know, when I lived in Connecticut, they had the Crown Vics, and they had the first time I ever saw a police car that had blue lights.
Yeah.
And down in New Jersey, they had them. You would like in Smokey the Bandit, Jackie Gleason had a Pontiac.
Yeah.
I never, not that I can recall, never seen a Pontiac police car.
Yeah.
And there's an old television show called Highway Patrol.
Yeah.
With Bradford Crawford.
Yeah.
Who was actually the Lone Ranger on the radio. And they had these gigantic, I think it was a Buick Special.
Yeah.
I mean, if you looked at the car, it was a gigantic tank.
Yeah.
But why? I would have to say it goes to engine power.
Yeah.
Not by the looks of the car. Now, like here in North Carolina, and thank you for all our police force. Thank you for your service. But they drive Mustangs.
Yeah.
And they drive the Ford, not the Broncos, but it's like an SUV car.
Yeah.
I can't remember that offhand, but it's a powerful car. And sometimes what kids look for was these police cars that have been retired.
Yeah.
But they got those pursuit engines.
Yeah.
You know, they don't take them out, and you see them from time to time.
And I conclude it's like we were saying, if you're going to buy a car, if you're going to write off 22 cop cars in a movie, then and they're using Ford Crown Victorias, then they are going to be easy to find, easy to buy, cheap to buy, and you won't have to look very far for about 20 of them, will you?
Now, the internet helps. Where you can find automobiles like this. Back in 1974, I had a 1954 Pontiac.
Yeah.
And my mentality back then, I just wanted to fix the car up. It was an old car.
Yeah.
And you think about it, it was only 20 years old.
Yeah.
But to find parts, I would have to go to swap meets.
Yeah.
And that was like, you may find something, you may not, and it would take a real long time.
Yeah.
If you wanted to restore that car. So with the Crown Vics, I would have to say it's engine power.
Yeah. Now,
they were a big car.
Yeah.
They were a big car.
Out of all the cars we've discussed, from the Ford Crown Victoria, Steve McQueen's Mustang, the Dodge Chargers, the Dodge Challengers, the Ford Gran Torino Sport, the Pontiac Le Mans maybe, the two Mustangs from Gone in 60 Seconds, for the old Mustang to the modern one that Nicolas Cage drove. Which one did you lust after the most? And which one would you...
I'm a Mustang guy. I like Mustangs. I like Mustangs. And I'm going to say something, and I hope I don't get any Dodge Charger people mad at me, but and I told you this when we were chatting the other day. It was like, I thought it was the interior.
Yeah.
Looked cheap.
Yeah.
Manufacturers were starting, the metal was disappearing in the interior of the cars.
Yeah.
But it was all, to me, it was a cheaply made, I can't say it. It just looked like everything was plastic.
Yeah.
And every time I see the steering wheel, which looks like a bunch of rubber tires put together.
Yeah.
Okay. I remember when my dad from time to time, we would go to a car dealership. and that was a thrill. But there was a Dodge dealership in our town
Yeah.
in Jersey, and I remember the part where this rib that was around the steering column was separated.
Yeah.
Well, how can you sell something that looks damaged?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I didn't think that way, but as a kid at age 15, I thought it was cheap.
Yeah.
Compared to a Ford. And again, back then Dad had that 66 Mercury, and I thought it was a very well-built car.
Yeah.
It was a family car. But Mustang, sorry for rambling, but Mustang gets my vote.
But I think one thing is, like we said, late 60s, 70s, 80s, I think that was the era of the genuine car chase. There were genuine cars, there were real locations. In the case of McQueen and Clint Eastwood, the actors did drive them or ride them themselves to a degree. It's like we all know in The Great Escape, Bud Eakin rode the bike over the jump. And Eakin was involved with Bullitt as well. There was a line where the production companies used to say to the actors, "That's it, you aren't doing that, we'll get in a stunt driver." But I think that was the golden era of proper car chases, wasn't it? I mean, it's like we said, they just bribe a few off-duty coppers, keep them roads quiet for a little while, and off they went, and they did it. And the end result was absolutely phenomenal. Unlike today, which I think all this artificial intelligence, in fact, normal intelligence would be much appreciated at times, but artificial intelligence is all well and good. But you just look at it and you think, that's farcical. So I think if you haven't seen these films, Bullitt, The 7-Ups, Vanishing Point, Fear is the Key, Gone in 60 Seconds, the original one, French Connection, Smokey and the Bandit, and you've got to watch Dukes of Hazzard, even if it's only for Barbara Bach. We enjoyed the best of the car chases, I think, to say, Joe, didn't we?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the thing is that I'm big with family.
Yeah.
And if you can watch a movie with your family and you make it special.
Yeah.
I would say that this weekend, a good family movie is Smokey and the Bandit.
Yeah.
Here's one. This is not a car chase movie, but Chitty Bang.
Yeah.
You're looking at a brassier automobile, and I don't want to go off left field on this, but I would feel that it's like a good family movie to start off with is Smokey and the Bandit.
Yeah.
And it's just thing I like to say, living in the South, going on 16 years, Southern people are, if you have a conversation with a Southerner, it's like you have a friend for life.
Yeah.
And that's the mentality of it. But I would, and take that for what it's worth, but to watch Smoking the Bandit, family movie, great. Other movies, I would say for parents, watch a trailer, and then you decide if this is a good movie to have the kids in and stuff like that. But
as always, Joe Pep, it's been a pleasure chatting to my colonial friend over in the deep south of America.
That's right. And as we would say in the South, y'all come back now. Yeah.
As it says on Beverly Hillbillies, to enjoy a heaping helping of our hospitality.
Well, as they would say in England, it's time for tea and crumpets. Or as they would say in the United States, hey, pal, you want a cup of coffee with that donut?
Once again, Joe Pep, it's been a pleasure, and I shall no doubt welcome you back in a few weeks' time.
Thank you so much, and great to have my new friends over in England. And keep the faith, and have a happy motoring day.